Hey guys, my name is Sean, and I'm taking care of today's video while Dan is away. Rise is finally back in playable solo queue state for the first time in years, while the Zai buffs have been much more impactful than anticipated. We'll be covering all this and so much more as we bring you guys up to speed with everything new in the meta for 13.1. With the help of our challenger players and analyzing the most recent data, we strive to have the most timely and accurate updates to the solo queue tier list each and every patch. But before we get into it, be sure to check out SkillCapped if you truly want to get better at League of Legends. We're the only service that offers a money-back guarantee if you don't climb at least 5 divisions while actively using our service. We do this because our service really does work, and if it doesn't work for you, you shouldn't pay. Learn more at the end of this video or click the link in the description below. Riot gave Jax a bunch of tweaks to his abilities for 13.1, and he has seen a slight increase in power as a result. The major change was to Jax's ultimate, as he now swings his lantern around, dealing damage, still providing him with resist, and now proccing his passive every second attack instead of every third. Cooldown is up a little bit on Jax R, and the damage on Jax's third hit passive is down, but overall, this change seems to be net positive. One thing to note is that Jax gains more armor than magic resist from his ultimate now, which makes him a little more vulnerable into AP heavy comps. If we have a look at Jax's matchups for 13.1, he's struggling against Ornn, Malphite, and Gragas, but performs super well into AD bruisers like Aatrox, Irelia, Darius, and Camille. Some players have been experimenting with AP builds for Jax because his E now has an AP ratio, but all the builds are performing very poorly. There may be some viability to adding in Nashers as a second purchase, but the standard AD builds continue to be the most consistent. Jax will find a spot in our S tier for 13.1 as one of the better carry top laners. Diving into the top lane tier list, we have Shin and Darius as the premier carries of the patch. Mundo nerfs have turned out way more impactful than originally anticipated, so he's been adjusted accordingly for our mid-patch update. Top lane has actually seen a pretty massive shakeup over the past patch, as previous S-tier champs like Mundo, Aatrox, and K'Sante have all fallen quite significantly. And we knew the Aatrox nerfs would hit him pretty substantially and moved him into B tier for our pre-patch tier list, but even then, we weren't expecting a full 4% drop to his win rate. Gangplank is in an incredibly strong spot at the moment, and we have him ranked as one of the best top laners to one-trick for Season 13. Now, if you're looking to pick up GP, our challenger top laner Sam has a new full-game commentary on our website highlighting the pick. The best low elo top laners of the patch are Ornn, Garen, and Nasus. Due to their high play rates and relative power in the meta, Fiora, Darius, and Jax are 3 of the highest value bans. Moving on to jungle, the biggest surprise of the patch is how hard Rammus was hammered by his recent nerfs. Our analysts were expecting a decent drop-off, but this may be the biggest single patch drop in win rate that we have ever seen. Rammus went from being a very strong 53% win rate jungler in 12.23 to having a 42% win rate in 13.1. I think it's safe to say that Riot missed the mark on this one, and the craziest thing of all is that Riot had the changes listed as adjustments in the patch notes, which means they thought the changes would be power neutral instead of nerfs. Now, it looks like Riot already had some buffs lined up for 13.2, so Rammus won't be in the gutter for too long. However, definitely stay away from him until those changes go live, as he'll be placed in the C tier for now. As more and more players pick up on the strength of Radiant Virtue Zac, his win rate continues to rise drastically. Even though the Jax Show changes didn't affect the item's power level much, Radiant is simply outperforming Jax Show by a long shot. Players who rush Radiant on Zac are winning 55% of the time, opposed to Jax Show users at 51%. The core build to run on Zac is a Radiant Rush into Demonic Embrace second and Sunfire Aegis third. We're telling you guys, junglers that can abuse Demonic Embrace are nuts right now, which is why Maokai and Udyr are so strong as well. The 2-item core of Radiant and Demonic is just so much value for Zac, and it's turned him into a potent jungle carry. Moving up one slot from S and into OP tiers in order for Zac. For the jungle tier list, OP tier will consist of Elise, Zac, Maokai, Echo, and Udyr. To be honest though, Maokai's even a tier above all 4 of those champions, and if we had a tier even higher than OP, Mao would be in it. The Demonic Rush, coupled with Maokai buffs from 12.23, are making him way too broken, so don't be surprised if he's nerfed in 13.2. And following up on the Axiom Arc buffs this patch, we noted that Nocturne would be a potential candidate to see a boost in power, but so far, it's been rather neutral. Axiom is definitely viable on Nocturne now, but playing him full lethality is definitely situational. Eclipse into Axiom seems to be the best 2-item core if you're going lethality. The top 3 low elo picks for jungle are Maokai, Udyr, and Zac, and we also have those exact same 3 as the best jungle bans for 13.1. Ryze mains rejoice, as the champion is finally back in a strong spot for solo queue. How long this lasts? Who knows? As whenever Ryze becomes good for solo queue, he's pick or ban in pro. Well, enjoy it while it lasts, as Ryze has been a huge winner due to the Rod of Ages and Archangel's buffs. For Ryze's tier list placement, we'll be moving him up into the A tier for 13.1. Another amazing mid laner thanks to the Rod and Archangel's buffs is Anivia. Anivia was already in an exceptionally powerful spot prior to the buffs, so changes have pushed her over the top for 13.1. Anivia is actually a really good champion you can play to counter Ryze, as her zone control makes it very difficult for a shorter ranged mage like Ryze to function. It's actually pretty crazy. Anivia's winning over 56% of the time when matched up against Ryze. And as for Anivia's tier list placement, she'll be making the jump into OP for our mid-patch update. Kassadin and Anivia are far and beyond the most optimal mid lane carries of 13.1. Zed has been really feeling the effects of his 12.23 nerfs. We'd previously moved Zed from OP into A tier, but a further move down into B tier is what we see fit in 13.1. Although Gangplank is way more commonly seen in the top lane, he's actually been having crazy success as a mid laner in the recent patches. GP absolutely stomps Kassadin and performs really well into other highly played mids like Yasuo, Akali, and Katarina. If you're a Gangplank main, Season 13 is looking so nice for you because he's a great pick for top and mid, meaning if you get your secondary role, you can still perform exceptionally well. One other adjustment to the mid lane tier list consists of Jace moving into the A tier. Jace buffs have been amazing this patch, and he's now a great carry for both top and mid. Best low elo mids of the patch are Swain, Malzahar, and Heimerdinger. Highest on our ban list for mid lane are Kassadin, Vex, and Aurelia. It's always been so difficult to judge how base stat changes will affect champions, but for Xayah, they've turned out insanely impactful. Just by buffing Xayah's base attack speed, it's led to around a 3% boost in her overall win rate. This, coupled with the fact way more players have finally caught on to the power of Navori Quick Blades, and you have yourself a top-tier ADC for 13.1. For the first time in ages, Xayah will be locking down an OP tier spot on the ADC tier list. One new ADC build the Koreans are loving for 13.1 is Stormrazor Caitlyn. Back in the day, Stormrazor used to be a staple purchase for Caitlyn, but then it fell out of the meta for a long time until it was buffed in 12.23, giving it viability once again. Storm is heavily outperforming Infinity Edge on Caitlyn, winning over 6% more at the time of making this video. Storm not only synergizes very well with Rapid Fire Cannon to provide Caitlyn with some nice long-range poke, but it allows you to burst much harder too. Gale Force active with Fire Cannon proc and Stormrazor proc can melt an enemy squishy's health bar. This, in a way, makes the build a little more noob-friendly because you can have impact without needing to kite around immaculately. Stormrazor being 700 gold cheaper than Infinity Edge is a huge deal as well, since you're able to hit a 3-item spike much earlier into the game. You can find Caitlyn in our ADC S tier as one of the better solo queue marksmen. We have a couple of adjustments to the ADC tier list for mid-patch, with Xayah moving into the OP tier alongside Tristana, Samira, and Kai'Sa. Now with Xayah getting the bump, Twitch will be the odd man out, moving down into the S tier. The Zeri nerfs have landed about where we anticipated. Zeri's definitely not a top-tier ADC anymore due to those nerfs, but she's not in a terrible spot either. To be quite honest, this is probably the most balanced we've ever seen Zeri since her release, being a good A-tier pick. The top 3 low elo bot lane carries for 13.1 are Tristana, Misfortune, and Ziggs. Draven, Kai'Sa, and Samira are a few of the highest value bot lane bans. The Horizon focus buffs have been amazing for many support champions this patch, and Lux is most definitely one of them. Horizon is now outperforming Shadow Flame based on statistics, and it's looking like the most optimal second purchase for Lux. We had Lux in our best champions to one-trick video for support, and these Horizon focus buffs make it even more worthwhile now. For the complete support tier list, locking down the OP tier spots will be Amumu, Heimerdinger, Blitz, and Maokai. Not just Lux, but other poke mages like Xerath and Vel'Koz are loving the buffed Horizon focus as well. And arguably one of the most versatile champions in the entire game right now is Zac, as he's seeing insane results in 3 different roles. Support Zac with a Radiant Virtue Rush is extremely sleeper OP at the moment. Now, especially with the likes of Samira in an incredibly strong spot, that duo can be absolutely nasty for 13.1. To climb out a low elo the fastest from support, Brand, Heimer, or Zyra are great options. Best support bans of the patch are Amumu, Blitzcrank, and Heimerdinger. Alright, before we wrap this up, let's tell you a little more about SkillCapped. So we offer a 5-division rank up guarantee, and we think that's a pretty crazy thing to offer. It's kind of like a gym membership guaranteeing you'll get ripped. Your local gym, they'd go bust if they offered that, right? Not us. We've offered this for years because our service really does work. It works so well, in fact, that we're able to produce by far the largest catalog of premium league guides on the internet. We add over 20 videos a week with over 2,000 guides curated into over 270 courses. No one can compare. We've also sent challenger players into ELO hell over 1,100 times and counting, where they commentate how to carry live. They also respond to all questions asked. Sign up today for as little as $6.99 a month to improve fast and get the rank you've always wanted. Link in the description below. So that's going to wrap it up for the 13.1 mid-patch tier list update. Thank you all so much for watching. Good luck on the Rift, and we'll catch ya in the next one.